It's round 6 of the 2012 Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge from Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, the Road America 200. We've got some threatening weather in the area as well as one of the most challenging racetracks these drivers will face all year long. What that means is some great competition, some great battles in store for you. Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Till, along with Calvin Fish and Dorsey Schrader. Jamie Howe and Greg Kramer down on pit road for you today. All season long in Grand Sport, it has been a championship battle among Porsche, BMW, Camaro, Ford, throw in an Aston Martin for good measure, and in ST, it is the Kia Forte Coupe of Kinetic Racing that leads the championship there, the number 10 car. But the story this weekend has been the number 12 Kia, driven by Mark Pombo. And the reason is Mark had a huge crash this morning here at Road America, had to be airlifted away from the facility. And there was a lot of dark rumor and innuendo around his condition, but we're pleased to report the official word is that he is in stable condition in intensive care at a Milwaukee hospital, and he is being kept overnight for observation after watching the impact. Guys, that's nothing short of a miracle.
Certainly very relieved to hear of that update on Mark's condition. Here we look at the replay on board right now. Initially, he gets some braking done, and then something goes amiss with the braking system, the ABS system or whatever, and he continues off the racetrack at unabated speed. And as always here at Road America, the high speed, there's going to be dire consequences, Dorsey.
Well, it says so much about the safety of these modern race cars and, of course, the equipment that the drivers wear that you could have a wreck like that and walk away or at least get away from it without bad result.
Yeah, it's great news to hear of Mark's condition. Take a look at the Kia starting grid at the top of your screen, and while you do, let's talk about some of the GS or Grand Sport storylines for the weekend. Back at Mid-Ohio, we talked about Camaro's potential, and they certainly showed it. They finished second there. They will now start on the pole. Yeah, I'd say that potential has been realized indeed.
Camaro on the pole, Brian, but great diversity on the grid. Top 7 spots represented by 7 different manufacturers today.
Brian Heitkotter earned his first pole at the last race at Mid-Ohio. Well, he's come back with his Nissan here, put it on the outside of the front road, so Brian is someone to watch.
Well, those are just some of the Grand Sport storylines. For more, let's head to the first of our pit reporters, Greg Kramer.
Guys, to flesh out that story about the Camaro potential, that's realized because of great teams and great drivers. And certainly CKS Motorsports is a great team, and their drivers, Lawson Aschenbach and Eric Kern on the wall there, top tier to be sure. And they have made a run here in the last few races, closed up to just 16 points from the lead of the championship, with a third at New Jersey, a second at Mid-Ohio after qualifying second and third respectively. You mentioned pole here. Can they convert it to the win? Well, there's precedent for it because last year's winner in the Grand Sports class was a Camaro from Stevenson Motorsports. So the potential is certainly there, and they just need to push and make it happen. For Stevenson, they're at the very back of the Grand Sports grid. The reason early in qualifying, a bolt sheared out of the suspension. They had to park it. So they've got their challenge ahead, but for the CKS lads, they're on it.
Now, young Corey Fergus will start from the pole from here at Road America and ST.
The gunslinger, Chad Gilsinger, had the pole position at Mid-Ohio, turned it into a victory alongside Michael Valiente. He comes to Road America and puts his car on the outside of the front row today.
And Nelson Piquet Jr., son of 3-time world champion and former Formula One driver himself, will take the wheel alongside of the Freedom Autosport MX-5 drivers, and he also is racing this weekend in Nationwide Series.
And as always, Freedom Autosport has showed up with an entire stable of cars. For more from that team, we'll go to Jamie Howe.
Well, in the sister car, the number 25, those drivers, Tom Long and Derek Whitus, they are making a real charge for that ST title. They had an engine failure in the first round at Daytona, but ever since then, they have been a model of consistency. They've yet to win a race in 2012, but I expect them to be a factor in today's race as well as the second half of the championship. But Calvin, one thing that caught my eye in the Freedom Autosport pit, they have a picture of you up here for some extra motivation. It's you at 21 years old with a little synopsis of your career, so they're feeling the motivation here at Road America.
Oh, the love continues, Jamie. Thank you.
What does that say? A clean-cut, charismatic 21-year-old. 21? Good Lord, how old is that?
I was once, yeah.
You know, we talk about the challenge of this racetrack, and Calvin has faced it before, back when he had hair just like that. Oh, just over 4 miles, Dorsey, and there are plenty of places to get in trouble around here. Take us around on our Kia track map.
One of the most beautiful racetracks in North America, of course, Elkhart Lake, 4.048 miles, 14 corners. It's wide open racing here. This racetrack is known for high speed, a lot of passing room. We'll see a great race here today.
I love this racetrack, and I think many of the drivers do. It's long, it's flowing, it is special. Let's take a look at the Continental Tire race analysis. 2.5 hours, it's a timed event, and we talked about the length of the racetrack.
Well, this is really a challenge for these guys. We didn't see a lot of green flag running here last year. A lot of carnage. We've got 57 cars out there mixed between the two classes. And you can see the pole winners, Lawson Aschenbach and Corey Fergus, with great performances here this morning, Dawson.
Normally 57 cars would be a lot on a road race course, but with 4 miles and the width of this racetrack, that's plenty of room for these guys. And that's why I love coming here and racing at this racetrack. You got plenty of side-by-side maneuvering room.
Well, it's such an interesting track. Long straightaways where the straight line speed is a benefit, but it's got to handle well. In addition to that, from turn 5 to turn 14, you've got to have a car that works. Right now, it's Camaro on pole alongside that Nissan 370Z, looking for the green in Grand Sport. The ST class will start a few seconds back, lined up nice and neat. The green flag flies, and we're racing at Road America.
Aschenbach from the pole, that big heavy muscle of that Chevy Camaro.
Crash, big crash right in the middle of the straightaway. Back there, many cars involved. It's not over with yet. One of them's the Roush 51 car, and that brings out full course caution before we even get to the start-finish line.
That's unbelievably. Jade Buford, he had an incident here last year on a restart which created a lot of carnage, so this is one that he probably cannot believe. Here we see the 62 cars just limping off to the side of the road, and that is George Richardson, who's switched up this weekend and now is partnered with Joey Atterbury.
Glad to see the ST guys got the call on the radio or just had heads up about them. They didn't take that green. They take the yellow, and no incident in that class right now.
We just talked about the Continental Tire's keys to the race. 2.5 hours around this racetrack, and for these drivers, Jade Buford didn't even get to the start line. Let's take a look.
Well, I saw this at the back, and I can tell there's been contact there. There's no question. Now, here's the deal. When you're getting contact like that, it's due to a stack-up that always happens in racing. These guys are not giving each other enough room. That's all there is.
I think George may have gone in the back of Jade there because Jade qualified a couple of rows ahead of him, so he just cannot believe his luck here, I would have to imagine.
I'm surprised he's not going to try to drive the car out of there and try to get back to the pits. It's a long way around here, but these cars at the start weren't going that fast, maybe 60 miles an hour, my guess.
We see that left side pancaked up against pit wall. Safety on the scene, always good, but we saw Jade Buford climb out and step over, and there he walks away disappointed. His day over before the green flag ever flew. We'll be back to more Continental Tire action, and I do mean action, from right here at Road America, the Road America 200. Welcome back to Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, for the Road America 200. Let's give you a little up to speed. We haven't had much racing at all, just to the green flag, and then it all went south, guys.
Yeah, got a bit crazy there at the start. Certainly the 51 of Jade Buford got turned around. George Richardson right in the middle of it. Matt Bell involved in the 9 car. And John Ferrano is the championship leader. And here we see a replay of his pit stop, having to change those side tires.
And it was the worst for Jade Buford because that car tore the rear axle out from underneath the Mustang, and it will not continue. Everybody else will.
But a problem for the Stevenson Motorsports Camaro. He must have gotten caught up in that melee as well. You see the damage to the front end of the number 9 Camaro with Matt Bell behind the wheel. And there is a look at Jade Buford's Mustang. It is in bad shape. It has been hauled away. Onboards for you today, 3 of them, the 25 and 26, both Freedom Autosport Mazda MX-5s, and the number 10 Kia Forte Coupe. We were going to have shots for you from the number 12, but we talked about Mark Pombo's incident. Good to know that he's okay, but that onboard, that car, obviously out of the event. Cars coming up the field. We'll try to do this again, this time single file on the restart. Green flag waves. Here we go again. Let's see if we can get to turn 1. And remember, the ST start, they haven't even seen a green flag yet. Down to turn 1. Aschenbach in the Camaro.
Well, we'd seen a little bit of a change up there from the initial start. Some positions had reversed there. Brian Hotcotter now looking at 4th, 5th spot as Maxwell dives to the inside as they head down towards turn 3 in that white Aston Martin.
Jack Roush Jr. had to defend going into turn 1 to keep that 3rd position. ST side by side with the Hondas.
Wow, Corey Fergus in the red and white Civic on the right, running side by side with the 93, and a problem for the number 140 Aston Martin.
Tim Fox behind the wheel as the ST cars now come down into turn 3, and Chad Gilsinger, the gunslinger, takes that Hart Civic to the front. I'll pulse it down to 2nd, but meanwhile a change at the front.
And look, Nick Longy in the Porsche, the rum bum Porsche, drove it down there.
That Porsche all out of shape in the braking zone, but he gets past Aschenbach, and right now he goes to the point, but how long will that last? It is the 6-cylinder Boxster engine in that Porsche. Let's take a look back for the 140. There's the Aston Martin.
Oh, he's in
just
trouble as
getting
soon
out
as
of
he
shape.
gets on the brakes.
Yeah, and he did that. Unfortunately, he did that himself. He had the car wagging with the steering wheel before he got on the brakes hard and just locked it up.
Luckily, no one else involved there, but I love Nick Longy there. He's so deep on the brakes in 5. He gave the brake pad a little tap on the way to 6 to make sure he had some left. He used it all up there trying to take the lead here and getting the lead on the first lap.
You're not kidding. He had that thing dancing. It sounded like I would have been on the rum bump.
Tim Fox and his number 140 Aston Martin back underway as the competitors through the kink, the daunting kink, for the first time as they run down to Canada Corner. Look at this, Maxwell all over the back of the Roush Mustang in front. The white Aston Martin on the red Mustang down to Canada Corner. Side by side into the braking zone.
Woo! Jack wiggled a little bit. Scotty has to take it all the way to the inside. The Aston Martin is really handling well. He said, we don't have the grunt of some of the big V8s with the weight that we're carrying, but meanwhile, up front, Brian, look at this. The Camaro to the front again.
Aschenbach has gotten back past Longy in the Porsche, and here we go, Dorsey. It's V8 versus flat 6 up the front straightaway.
That's why I love this racetrack. It gives you those little bitty big slides. You got power slide room. You got room side-by-side racing. This is a good scrap going on.
Jack Roush lined up fourth in his Roush Performance Mustang, but we saw the problems early for Jade Buford in the 51. Let's go to Jamie Howe.
Well, unfortunately, Jade is back in pit lane. Jade, what was that like from your seat?
We were just coming to take the start of the race. I was doing my best. I hate what happened for the team and for Shelby, but I made a small mistake on a miss shift and caught the brake pedal a little bit. And by the time I had recovered, somebody had already come into the side of me. I just hate it for the guys. I wish we just wanted a strong result coming out of this race, and really just wanted to try to keep everything together for Watkins win. I hate that it makes it really tough on the guys now, but we'll just try to get it there and do the best we can next week.
It's a great team. I'm sure they can do it.
Well, the young man fessed up. He missed a gear. It's not like we haven't done it, boys. It does happen. That caused the stack up.
But, man, the great battle is everywhere. The battle for the lead amongst the Porsche and the Camaro, and look at the battle amongst teammates from Turner Motorsports.
God, look up front. Here we go again.
Turner boys have been really strong here this weekend, and look out for Billy Aublin today. I think he can send a message through this field when he jumps in that number 96. But up front, they're chopping and changing, Dorsey. I tell you what, the Rum Bum car just flew by that Camaro down the straightaway. Nick Longy said the narrow body style certainly works well here on these long straightaways.
And the other thing they're going to have to start being mindful of is they're doing this under extreme braking. You've seen the cars twitching around, so forth. This racetrack is hard on brakes, but we're going to go into the night. It's going to cool off, so they might get away with it.
Talked to the Multimatic team earlier, and Scott Maxwell actually lost a contact on his fast lap in qualifying. They felt like that Aston Martin should be further up the grid, and right now Scott Maxwell showing why it should. That car very quick.
He braked a lot later on that lap, though.
Yeah, something about that. It's not so scary when you can't see.
There's a battle all the way through this field. Doesn't matter whether it's for the lead, for 20th, for 10th. In the GS class, it is unbelievable here. And these drivers, as we see a little bit of a move here down into Canada Corner. This is where Mark Pombo had that braking issue in the morning practice session and flew off the racetrack. Here we see one of the four-line BMWs looking for a way by Michael Marcel.
Lined up, you also see the Subaru in there. They've had a good run this year. Talk about a good run. It's been the BGB Porsche of John Ferrano and David Imbringham who lead the championship, but they had problems early on. And we'll go to pit road with Greg Kramer. That car had to pit. Greg, are they okay? They're running 18th.
Well, the car's back out. That's what we're going to find out. First of all, David, is the car okay at this point?
I think it is. I think it was just a flat tire. Hopefully we were lucky. It seems like everything's fine.
Innocent bystanders and something like that. You're the points leaders coming in here, and now you had a decent qualifying run. Now you're buried in the pack. That's how you wanted this one to start.
Certainly a little disappointing, but we're going to hang tough. It's still a long race. Got a lot of work to do, but we have a really good car.
Well, and let's go a little further up pit lane to Jamie Howe.
I just checked in with Stevenson Motorsports. They were also involved in that incident. They came into the pits underneath that caution, popped out the front end, topped it off with fuel. I just checked in with the team, and they said the car's running well. They're still down on straight line speed, but it's holding together.
And Porsche's not down on straight line speed, guys. At the end of these two really long straightaways, and that's what's unusual about this racetrack. There's 3 long straightaways here, and that narrow front end on the Porsche really gives it top speed.
I tell you what, though, I think Aschenbach may have been playing some game. That was almost too easy. I mean, he didn't like sneak up on him. That was like Aschenbach put the brakes on when he did go by him that time.
Lawson Aschenbach leading. It is Camaro, Porsche, Aston Martin, Mustang, and Nissan, BMW. 6 different marks in the top 6. It's what you would expect from Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. We're here at Road America. Don't miss it. More to come right around this corner. Round 6 of the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge from Road America continues, and it's Nick Longi who's taking his Porsche to the front. Lawson Aschenbach right behind him, then the Aston Martin of Scott Maxwell. It's been a great one from here at Road America, and you would certainly expect that. Plenty of action on the racetrack, and it continues right now as you see the 61 Jack Rouse Jr. really beginning to put pressure on the back of Maxwell and hanging in there. Brian Heidkotter, he has been the find of the year, as has that 370Z from Doran Racing.
Yes, very quick, and both races at Mid-Ohio from the pole and this race here today from the front row. Brian's decided to take a nice conservative approach to the start of this race, probably just saving brakes and tires as we see everyone really going in there deep. Look at Jack Rouse Jr. There's a car wild. That is Aschenbach, who is in second place. Maybe has a move for the lead, but either way, a mistake down into turn 5.
That's what I was talking about, Calvin. I've been hearing that every lap. These guys have been using the brakes really hard in those brake zones. Heard that little bit of tire lock up, and we got a full course caution right in front of us here for something. I don't know what, but I can see it.
While we go full course caution, let's take you up to speed. Problems for the fall line number 45, the B positive entry of Al Carter. He came to pit road.
Yeah, and this is significant because we've already seen our championship leader have problems. These guys are second, only 1 point out of the championship lead. Drama there as the 4-line boys go to work.
And then more problems on the racetrack. You see Dickie Regal in the Mini. A problem, looked like another brake issue, Dorsey.
Yeah, that could have been going into the ABS anti-lock brake system, and then this is why the caution's out, guys.
Oh, another one.
Fall line
BMWs.
That's a big hit on the wall there.
Charles Putman behind the wheel.
And that could also be a brake issue. Oh,
could it be a brake issue or a BMW issue?
Well, this is different.
Yeah, that's the
this is left
tire,
rear.
Look at the damage.
Look at the damage.
He has introduced that left side to some other competitor on the racetrack. That's not the tire that's done that damage up by the door.
Yeah, we haven't seen all of this
involved with Putman.
Well, it could have been because Charles the Charles car, those two guys are good drivers. They don't very often make mistakes. And that was pretty early on the wall that he was scraping down. Like, kind of got helped, I'm thinking.
And you see that damage on the Turner BMW, and you saw Charles Putman out of his 48.
Look at this, the Subaru's involved. This is another championship contender here. Had the big win at New Jersey, a real factor at Mid-Ohio.
Brett Spouty.
Wow,
and this is different. This looks
on?
like an engine problem because look at all the steam coming out. I don't see any body damage. This just all happened to happen all at the same time. I'm thinking that the Turner car definitely and the Putman car got together, I'm thinking.
Unrelated there. There was a little dent on the front of the Subaru, but nothing substantial. That's
a big hit.
Is substantial on the 97 of Michael Marsal, and that's disappointing. He had his best qualifying of the year, and it is not going his way right now. Let's head back down to the pits with Jamie.
So going back to the number 45 of Fall Line Motorsports making that pit stop just a couple laps ago, they had a fitting on the oil line that came loose. He came into the pits. The team did get him back out there. They did not go a lap down, so it is good news for the team that's second place in the championship.
That's really good news because if they have fixed the problem, he should be topped up with fuel, and now with this yellow, there'll be a stack up and he'll be in pretty good shape to work some strategy and get him back to the front. But obviously carnage here on this lap. What's going on, Greg?
Well, just an observation for you. You guys have been talking about how tough this track is on brakes. And the last time, right before this yellow came out, the last time the leaders came down the front straight at speed, just as they crest the little bit of the hill here, I was seeing Nick Longi tapping those brakes. I don't know whether it's a brake issue or just knockback, trying to get those pads back in place. But he was definitely working it way before the brake zone.
Well, we've seen that from the opening lap, Greg. Even after he took the lead there down in turn 5 door, so we see him tap the brakes up to turn 6. They did have a braking issue with the run bump machine down into turn 1 with Matt Plum behind the wheel in Thursday's practice session. So maybe they're conscious of that. Giovardi-led crew maybe said, make sure you hit that brake pedal a little tap before you get into any of the big brake zones.
Well, that's the one thing about this racetrack. They got long straightaways, and all these brake zones are on downhill grades. That means the brakes are working really, really hard, and you've got a lot of time between to tap that brake, so why wouldn't you do it? It doesn't scrub off that much speed, and this place is brutal on brakes, no doubt about it. Trouble here, of course, was trying to get this car. I don't know if those guys made contact. I'm taking that back. I haven't seen it. We can't verify it, but the damage to this car and the damage to the Charles Putman car doesn't look like they hit.
At any rate, with a 2.5-hour event, anytime spent on pit road is not good for Michael Marcel. His day has gone south. For Charles Putman as well, he's parked alongside, but for Nick Longi, everything going his way as he leads from here at Road America, round 6 of the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. Well, as Dave Despain takes your calls, emails, and tweets on the hottest stories in the world of motorsports. It's your chance to sound off and be heard, so call him. Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain live tonight, 9 Eastern, only on Speed. Let's get you up to speed. Easy for me to say. I'm stumbling like the drivers were on the racetrack. Lawson Aschenbach battling for the lead off in turn 5.
Yeah, we think there's some fluid down there in the turn 5 braking area because right behind him there is carnage everywhere. First is Brett Spouty in the Subaru who misses the braking zone completely. You can see it there, a little bit of damage to the left front. Then
and the big one, Charles Putman comes down with his BMW, rides the wall down. Lou puts even more fluid down.
Then under full course caution, the 13 Rum Bum Porsche to pit road. Longi out, Matt Plum in.
Perfect strategy here, about 35 minutes on the board, so Nick will get points here today, and Matt will take it to the checkered flag, and then we see all of the STs, but significantly, Hart decided not to pit Chad, the gunslinger, kept him out there. Here we see Corey Fergus, our pole setter. Busy pit lane, he didn't get the car in the right position. They had to maneuver him back in to get the refueling rig hooked up.
Not quite sure why Hart didn't pit. Doesn't really make much sense. We'll see what happens as it goes on.
Perhaps a mistake, but there's still plenty of time to make up for it. Maybe the cards will fall their way, but the green flag about to fall will go racing again. And here we go. Brett Sandberg in his Camaro up front really slows the field up, and it stacks up. And Sandberg with a jump, and the officials are not going to like that. Tim Bell, then Matt Bell in the Stevenson Motorsports Camaro. So Camaros 1, 2, 3 as they take the flag.
Well, if these guys are brake checking each other to try and disrupt the starts or restarts, they got to be dealt with because that is just not good.
Look at Billy Johnson there already up to 4th. They've done a driver change there in the 61 car. Remember the great strategy they used there as you see the 55 looking for the way down the inside, which is Scotty Maxwell.
That was a good save with 2 wheels in the grass over there.
Important to note about the start, remember you cannot improve your position before the start line, so that's why the field stays lined up. It's why that stack up can be such a problem. Look at this. Matt Plum trying to thread the needle there, does a nice job. The straightaway speed of that Porsche over the Vantage was certainly significant there, allows him to get in a position. The 78 slides wide of Steve Randall. There you see the oil dry after the outside of the racetrack, no grip in that.
And you see all those cars squirming around and brakes on a 5. Remember, you're headed down the hill. You put the brakes on, all the weight goes in front of the car, and you're headed downhill on top. The back end gets up in the air, and you get the back end movement.
Well, there's a lot of confusion there that caused that last full course caution. Let's see if we can get some answers with Jamie Howe.
Michael Harvey, team manager for Fall Line Motorsports. Michael, what do you know about that incident before that caution?
Well, I believe there was some oil on the track and Charlie got into it and it just turned left on him and he hit the wall and then rattled down the wall, and that's about all there was. So car's pretty bad. Charlie's okay.
That's good news that Charlie's okay. There's a lot of cars involved though, Greg Kramer.
Well, there certainly is, and one of them is the Subaru that has had a big shunt out there as well, and with team owner Joe Aquilani. And Joe, it seems like this oil's catching a lot of people out.
Well, we're not quite sure what happened or what sequence went on, so we are just trying to figure it out right now. But I think Brett was taken to the hospital there, or taken to the the care center. So as soon as we get a chance to talk to him, we'll find out what went wrong.
All right, but he said they are out, or so it appears. So tough moment here.
Certainly oil on the track, Calvin. You don't have that many incidents at one time without having some some conditions.
Tell you what, we nearly had another one there. Those guys were pretty loose there. Matt Bell continues to impress with his car control week in and week out there in the Stevenson Camaro, which has done a great job to recover. Remember, they're the defending champions here at Road America. Had the initial contact there at the start to make that early pit stop, but they're in good shape right now towards the front of the pack.
Coming through the kink is where that happened, and nobody can really attest to how. Look at this. Jack Roush Jr. up the inside. That was scraping right there.
There's a couple of rabbits coming through this pack right now. One is Billy Johnson.
That's
there
Billy
in the Rush
Johnson,
Mustang, and he likes to run the insides over that dust there, right up over the curb there. Here we see Matt Plum.
Wow, look at this.
Oh, look at this. This is an angry little battle.
It
See, Matt Plum goes to the outside of the Camaro.
That's a power move right there with the Porsche around the outside of the Camaro on brake.
Good clean running there from Matt Bell. He's not going to like that because he gave Matt a little bit of room, and Matt came back up a little bit. I don't think it was intentional, but from Matt Bell's seat, it may have looked that way.
And Tim Bell may get the run on both of them in that number 6 Camaro right behind. You see the brake lights flash as they pump that pedal. Look at Matt Bell.
Again, this is what I'm talking about. When you go down that hill on the brake, the back ends get loose. You got to give yourself some room, otherwise you're going to have a big wreck.
I think this is the first time we're seeing the two Bell brothers really close together on the racetrack since Tim switched from the ST class last year to the GS, the big powerful machine.
Yeah,
they've done a great transition.
If that was my brother to me, to be a wreck for sure.
There is the number 46 Brian Sellers right in front of the 01 of Eric Kern. A great battle in Grand Sport. Let's go to ST. It's the 161, the Volkswagen of Nuremberg up front. Really no one around him right now. So Nathan having a good run. A lot of the cars pitted on that pit stop and things got mixed up on the restart. So for right now,
I like that technique. I can do that.
Well, we talked about Hart not pitting. They decided to, that was a mistake. They brought him in as we see a pass here for second with the 30 car going down the inside down into turn 8. But John Capistro de Bretz is in the car right now. So, but the Hart decision to pit Gilsinger under green doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I would have thought you would have played it out a little bit further. Plenty of fuel still in the tank. They didn't need to come in at this stage.
Compass 360 with about a dozen cars in this pack right here. They all look the same.
Here comes the Armada, the Compass 360 cars and the APR cars. Both of those teams fielding multiple entries. And here they come down the long run out of the kink into Canada corner. The number 30 flashes by with Dyer behind the wheel.
Somebody back there coming out of the kink off the road again. They saved it, gathered it up.
Look at this.
Oh, up the middle.
That is Altberg slicing through the middle there, threading the needle. That was pretty impressive.
That was. He's still got his mirrors too, so he's pretty good with car control.
Of course, the most impressive thing is that all of these drivers before the race said, we need to conserve brakes. There's no conservation going on right now. Billy Johnson into turn 1. Wow, impressive.
Lost a little ground there because he dropped the wheels off. He's going to be under pressure down in turn 3.
Look at this. How patient is Matt Plum going to be? Billy Johnson wants the lead. He wants it in a hurry, and he held it for a long time at Mid-Ohio. They played that strategy game to perfection. I think they got a little bit lucky in the amount of caution, but it worked out for the win at Mid-Ohio. Got them back in the championship game.
3 wide so far. We're not done yet.
And teammates into turn 1. Battles everywhere. ST and one of the ST competitors a little bit earlier. A very familiar name, especially to Formula One fans. Greg, and a problem on the racetrack.
Turn 1 on the outside. If he can keep that front wheel drive spinning, he might be able to get out of there. Nope.
That's not.
Just dug it in.
That's what happens when you stop. Rossetti buried in the gravel. Let's head back down to pit road with Greg.
Yeah, Brian, you were setting it up beautifully. Obviously, family legacy is so important in racing, and legendary is the name Piquet, and it's great to have Nelson Piquet Jr. here running in the Continental Championship, and obviously you've got a mission here for your visit.
Oh, for sure. It was my first time here, and I'm happy to be with these guys over here at Freedom Autosports, replacing Rats. Sorry he couldn't be here. But no, it's great to be here. It's first time here on the track. It's a beautiful track, and racing a nationwide series as well. So just getting a bit of track time and learning a different kind of car. It's great to just keep racing and doing different kind of things.
You mentioned Road America being a beautiful facility. I mean, this is had in ways as a European feel to it, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, only racing over here was this series. It brings a little bit more of the European style compared to the NASCAR, which I've been for the last 2 years. So, but yeah, for sure, road courses are what I've been brought up, and it's exciting to be in a beautiful track like this.
Well, it's great to have you here with us for sure. We're under a full course caution. Let's go up to Jamie Howe.
Well, just to go back to the Hart Racing, that number 93 coming in under green flag conditions for a pit stop. There is a reason why, Calvin. The reason is Chad Gilslinger. He is driving in both the 93 and the 92 Accord this weekend, so they had to get him out of the car so that he could get his helmet and gear back on to get back in the car once the 92 pits.
Wow. Double duty today for the Hart boys. It's round 6 of the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge from Road America. Under caution. We'll be right back to more green flag action when we come back to Road America right around the bend. Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge glitz for you there from Road America. The sun beginning to set, and it's going to be dark when these guys run those last 15 minutes or so. They're going to need headlights here at Road America, and you think it's challenging enough during the bright sunshine. When the sun sets, it's really going to be exciting.
That front group better start thinking about headlights because the way they're driving, they're not going to have any.
Billy Johnson up front, followed by Matt Plum, then Brett Sandberg, Matt Bell, Brian Heitkotter. That is the top 5 as they come back to the line looking for the green flag. It waves. There we go. Now it waves, and Billy Johnson, clear view out the windshield of that Roush Mustang down to turn 1.
Yeah, he leaps away there, and I think for Matt Plum, what he needs to do is just really manage this race. He doesn't want to burn the car down in terms of tires and brakes. There's potential, you know, they're going to do one more stop here in the GS class, unless we see a ton of yellow, so certainly a chance to throw some fresh rubber at it. Right now, Matt Plum just needs to sit there and shadow him, I feel.
And that is your championship leader right there, the silver and blue Porsche, the number 83, David Impringham behind the wheel. He and John Ferrano sharing that car. Impringham 10th at the line last time by. But man, things are shuffling so quickly here. Difficult to keep up. You see the Aston Martin involved in there as well. The 55 of Scott Maxwell.
That was tight there with current.
Oh, trouble here, big time.
Oh, he's on it. He's saving it. He's saving it. Yeah,
He's
kicks
got
it
it.
off the wall.
Good job.
Beautiful job.
Great job. He's going to need tires because I know those were flat spotted.
Brian was fighting it big time. Just got out there in the dust.
No grip, and man, did it take off.
Brian Sellers, a great job, and you wonder, these drivers talk a lot about kickback and the ABS systems not liking it. Is that the problem? Because you saw lockup, and that BMW has ABS. It shouldn't be locking up. Look at these cars twitch.
Boy, he never gave up on it, though, did he? We'll take a look at it again. This is a heck of a save because once he gets out here on the outside, there's no grip.
Just locks up those fronts, has to release them, locked again, and he's just fighting it. It's already been an expensive corner for Four Line today with the Putman crash. So good, nice job by Brian Sellers there in recovering that car.
Didn't give up on it. Like I say, he never just locked it down and quit.
Stayed with it all the way. Billy Johnson up front, a little further back, the 0-1. Eric Curran running 8th right now. Lawson Aschenbach started that Camaro. He's in the pit road with Greg Kramer.
Started it, put it on pole, and I'll tell you, right off the bat, you guys were in a war.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is a great track. I mean, you know, the drafting is everything here, and it's hard to kind of break away from the pack, so you really have to give it your all every single lap of every corner. But you know, hats off to everybody here at the Team Chevy CKS Autosport team. You know, this Camaro GSR was just fast, and you know, we're a little frustrated with our straight line speed right now compared to the other cars, but you know, our car brakes pretty well, handles good. We just gotta give it everything we got, like I said, and hopefully we can come out on top.
One of the biggest issues here this race so far has been oil on the track, and you hit it.
Yeah, I was a little bit embarrassed by that thing, but I don't know if the series didn't call it in time or what. By the time I got there, the flag was about where we braked, you know, for our brake zone. So got a little squirrely there, lost a couple of spots, but you know, it's racing, it's all right. We got back in 4th, and I don't think it really hurt us too bad for track position or anything. So we'll take it. I mean, Eric's out there, he's got a battle ahead of him. It's going to be a really tough race for him with our straight line speed, but you know, we'll do what we can and go from there.
All right, good luck. And for more in this fast qualifier moment, check in with Jamie.
Yes, an ST1 driver is really coming into his own is Corey Fergus. Corey, you've been on pole the last 2 races. It's your first season. What have you figured out with this car?
Well, this RSR Honda Civic Si is just a wonderful race car. You know, qualifying it on pole 2 times in the past 3 races certainly wasn't easy, but these guys have worked so hard and gave me a great race car, and I'm just going out and doing the best I can.
We're excited to watch the growth. Good luck.
Thank you.
Definitely coming along, but talk about exciting. This battle up front, guys, is intense. And look at Impringham and that Porsche moving to the front.
He's in the mix of it. Watch for Billy Auberlen, though, in this Turner Motorsports car. He was the fastest man in practice this morning before qualifying when his teammate Paul Dallalana put it well inside the top 10. So the Turner Motorsport BMW is fast here, and he's going to try and get around this Camaro. Brett Sandberg did not pit, so he's got a little less fuel on board than everyone else. He may need an additional pit stop here today. Then Billy will try and chase down those leaders.
Oh! Whoa! We're going to be doing that. The least experienced driver in that whole group is Brian Heidkotter in the Nissan. Right in the back there, guys. His forte is gaming. You know, just as I say that, he's dropping 2 wheels off. But he's getting a driver lesson right now in the real world. I mean, he's really doing a great job to be with these guys, I think.
He's done a great job. His speed is there. We've seen that in terms of his qualifying performance. Right now, he is learning his trade, and there's no better place to do it than in this series.
Totally agree with you, Calvin. I mean, he's really getting a good go of it right now.
These guys using every bit of racetrack and then some, as Billy Johnson continuing to lead over Matt Plum. And then Sandberg, and you talked about it, Calvin, he has not pitted. He's light on fuel, but he's also used up a lot of those Continental tires, everything he can do to hold on right now, and I do believe beginning to stack up the cars behind him a bit.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. He doesn't have a lot of experience in these big high horsepower cars. Here comes Billy Auberlen, catches the draft nicely down the front straightaway. He should hold that position down in the turn 1 braking zone, no problem.
I think Matt Plum was listening to you too, Calvin, because right now he's definitely set up with Billy Johnson. You see the 2 cars working together or pulling away from this field. They're not beating each other up like they were the whole first half of the race.
I think you have to, and you recognize with Billy Johnson, he doesn't want to give up that lead. So if you start battling with him now with, an hour and 20 plus to go, it's going to be a long way to that checkered flag. So just settle in, find your groove.
Yep.
Gunnar Jeanette leading in ST. He's moved to the front in his Ford Focus. This car new this year. The team discovering every time out. It gets a little bit better, and Gunnar Jeanette having a good run in the 15 right now. Right behind him, the 171, one of the APR entries, and then the number 23 of Terry Borcheller. So right now it's Ford Focus, Volkswagen, and BMW running 1, 2, 3. Once again, the manufacturers playing in ST.
Riding on board 4th place, of course, this is our reigning champion, the Kia, the 10 car.
Reigning championship champion and race defending champion here at Road America. Bit of a surprise to see them win here last year on these high-speed straightaways, but certainly the car was competitive all year long, and certainly those guys in the Kia camp will be thinking about Mark Pombo, who had that tremendous high-speed accident this morning. The car seemed to stand up to the massive impact well, and we wish Mark all the best, of course.
Right now, Billy Johnson leading in Grand Sport. Gunnar Jeanette leading in the Street Tuner category from round 6 of the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. We're at Road America. Stick around, we'll be right back. Stay with us. Keep you up to speed with what's been going on from round 6 here. Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge from Road America. A little help a brother out. The 25, you ride on board one of the Mazda MX-5s. Brad Rampelberg right behind him, his teammate, getting a little bump draft.
Working it to perfection down these long straightaways, and you can really reduce your lap time if you work together in tandem like that.
I like this one. Big save on the outside, and just come right back in.
Jason Saney, another of the MX-5s with, we said everybody's using every bit of racetrack.
He's real happy with that Ford Focus. Johnny Canavas goes for a ride through the carousel there, gets stuck in the gravel trap.
And that brought out the caution because he wasn't going anywhere.
Looks like your golf game, Calvin.
Ooh. Well, he'll be in there for a while if it's my golf game. But meanwhile, the pits were not open for the GS car, so a little bit of miscommunication here between 2 of the front runners. That's Billy Auberlen and Eric Kahn rolled down pit lane. One will recover, one will not. Here we see the run bump in from 2nd place.
Billy Johnson comes into the Roush crew.
Those guys going to work and getting it done the right way.
4 tire change, and here we see the 01. After that faux pas, they then bring him in when the pit lane is open. A little bit of miscommunication with the sister car and a delayed pit stop for Eric Curran. He's now towards the back of the GS pack right now. However, Billy Auberlen, they only changed left side tires. He's up towards the front of the pack again.
Shot out of the back of the pace car, and is that the 61
One of the
coming
cars
to pit road
I
as
don't believe
well?
it's 61. No, there's 61.
I think so. Up the front straightaway. Green. Looking for green, and you heard the radio call it green, green, green. And we're back.
Oh, man.
Wow.
I don't know if they touched, but if they did, and it was awful close.
Well, you're not allowed to change your line before the stripe, but Billy Johnson was right on it when he made that evasive maneuver. That was pretty wild there.
And that was the 158 of Ian James, the blue Mustang, all out of shape there. Perhaps some contact from Billy Johnson. Very good car control. Ian James gets pushed to the front.
Yeah. Pretty wild stuff right there. And remember, Ian James had a pretty strong run going at Mid-Ohio until he got roughed up by BJ Zacharias towards the end of the race. We like to tease him, call him the middle-aged Ian James. He said he got a lot of emails about that comment. Hopefully he'll get a few more this week.
Well, he used to be the young Englishman Ian James, but now, you know, things happen.
Well, you want to get older, don't you?
Look at Billy Orblin deep on the brakes. Tries to go around the outside of Matt Plum, using all of the curbs there on the exit of 5.
He's going to get stuck out there. He's not going to pay any penalty for it, but
nowhere to go.
Letting his intentions known, that's for sure.
Remember, he's only got left side tires, so he's going to struggle a little bit through some of these left-handers as this run continues.
And there is the traffic jam right in the middle of it, the 14. BJ Zacharias behind the wheel of that 370Z, and Brian Heidkotter, what a great job he did in qualifying.
Well, the team did an absolutely great job too in this last stop. I'm with Kevin Doran first quickly. Kevin, you've been in this game a long time, and you know, after Brian's great pole at Mid-Ohio, everybody was talking, but he's been in the thick of it in this race with some of the best guns in this series. This kid's for real.
Yeah, he got to run with all the quick guys, and definitely we're holding our own. Brian's doing a great job for Nissan.
And as always, it was a marvelous stop. And Brian, it's got to be great for you to be able to start your career essentially in the real world of racing with such an established team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't thank Nissan and GT Academy enough for this opportunity. It's a total shortcut into professional racing, and the training that I had in England I think has really paid off, because this is one of the toughest series I've ever seen, and it's been a lot of fun. I hope it continues for a long time.
All right, and you got a great mentor here, certainly, in Kevin Doran. Great battle for the lead, too, guys.
Oh, Ian James trying to hold off Billy Johnson, Matt Plum, Bill Auberland, the big names, and they are all on a charge right now. Oh, and problems down at Canada Corner.
A couple cars got together there in their gravel trap. That's going to do a full course for sure. 3 cars, maybe.
Gregory LaFuge in the middle of that, and one of the Bidmer
Well, they got to move it.
Well, one of them's not, though. Those 2 front-wheel drive cars got moving, but there's a rear drive BMW there.
BMW has worked his way out, and look at this. Billy Johnson to the front. Matt Plum going to ride right on that back bumper. Ian James slips back to 3rd, and Bill Auberland still right there, as is the 45 of Hugh Plum in that dark-colored BMW in the back.
Well, they're both Mustangs, but I think the horsepower underneath the hood of Billy Johnson's is a little bit stronger than what Ian James has got to work with today. And now it's going to get for real. We talked about Matt Plum being patient, Dorsey. Now we're getting underneath and out to go. Track position will be key as we go to caution once again.
Yeah, that I knew was going to happen, because one of those, there's the car that I was talking about. It's stuck in the gravel, the APR, the 131, and it's got damage.
He's in there pretty deep. There's going to be some left side damage to that. He's deep in there.
That's not what you want to see. And let's take a look. Oh,
that's not going to work.
That's not going to work. And I've got to say, that's a brake issue. We've seen it throughout, and that car, I mean, one more time, it looks like perhaps.
Well, you know, if these guys are relying on ABS to save them all the time, they're going to have these wrecks like this. I don't know. I'm not saying that's what did happen, but these are brake-related issues.
That cold tires, an aggressive move on the dirty side of the racetrack too, Brian. I mean, there's not a ton of grip down there. He was pretty much in the grass and over the curb. You're not going to get the same braking out of those
No, it doesn't brake well with the wheels in the air.
No.
Juan Alvarez, Juan Sierra Lindell sharing that car, and a problem. We've seen Canada Corner take a bite out of the competition, and it bites again and rears its ugly head. But for Billy Johnson, he's having a good run. He's on point right now, but that could change when we come back to Road America and more Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge action right here. Stick around. We'll be right back. The hard left. We've had a lot of hard knocks here.
There's been some hard lefts and right-hand corners.
Yeah, it's been part of the problem, I think. A little excitement going on. Nick Janssen in the Kia. Tom Long. It's Tom Long in the Mazda, and race control is saying, you know what? I think maybe we've seen a little too much paint swapping going on, and Nick Janssen's been warned, no more contact.
They were on board with Tom Long. He tries to go the long way around, and Nick's radio communication said, what am I supposed to do? He turned in from the outside on me. I had nowhere to go, so just one of those racing deals, Doris.
Of course, if he didn't turn in from the outside, where was he going to go? Out into the woods?
I'm sure Tom Long didn't see it quite that way. Looking for the green. There it is.
Getting dark now, Brian. Look, the headlights are all on. Which ones that still work anyway?
Well, and this track will have changed significantly. The temperature going down, the track will be cooling off, but Billy Johnson just heating up. Matt Plum trying to hold off Bill Auberlen right behind him. It's Mustang, Porsche, BMW.
Gunter Scholdeck right in the middle there. Remember him from last year's race in the Rolex Series, having a big off down into turn 1. He's looking pretty frisky right now in the number 6 Camaro.
They all are. The race cars get real happy right now. The engines start making some horsepower because it's cool air. The brakes aren't, the temperature on the brakes aren't a problem. The tires get cooled down. Really fast time of day.
Billy Auberlen just got gapped there coming off of turn 3. Not sure what happened as Matt Plum again. We talked about how patient he was earlier. Now he's looking for the front.
Billy Johnson saying, if you want it, you're going to have to go the long way.
Braking duel.
Watch Auberlen. He could take advantage of these guys doing this side-by-side stuff through this series of corners.
Good spotter right there telling him he's still on the outside.
And they do use spotters in road racing. Most people think it's oval track only, but spotters placed around this racetrack, letting these drivers know what's going on, where the competition is. Can they make that move or not? Matt Plum working on Billy Johnson. Johnson in the red Mustang.
Yeah, nothing for that.
Oh, wow.
That was nice. Here comes Auberlen. Auberlen looking for second. This is going to be tight here going into the carousel.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be on
has
the
to
outside.
give away. Yeah, it's real dirty there offline, Dorse.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be trapped outside there.
See the rubber build up like the cushion. Track has had a little bit of an issue this weekend, Dorsey. Some of the corners starting to break up. You were out there last night and saw it.
Yeah, it was really breaking up pretty good. Ian James still getting playful here with the blue Mustang in 4th. He wants a little bit of this.
Johnson holding on to the lead. Then Matt Plum has moved to the lead. Then Johnson, Bill Auberlen holding down 3rd in ST. It's Borcheller, Altberg, and then Nick Janssen running 3rd there. We heard the officials warn Janssen. Sure, Andy Lally, his teammate, probably doesn't see it quite the same way as Tom Long did. Does he, Greg?
Yes.
I would think not, but let's ask. Andy, obviously, first thing, we're getting reports about a little warning about some contact for you guys.
Yeah, in my opinion, I just watched that. It looked like he turned in on Nick a little bit, but our Infinio Audio Forte Coupe is doing pretty good here. We just don't have the juice a lot of these turbo cars, and they're killing us off the corner. I was in the car for the start there, and it was a little demoralizing, but it was the car handles so good and it brakes so well, but we just need a little oomph on top. But we got the man in there right now, and he's charging, and I think we got to think big picture here. We're leading the points. The 31 and the 75 are behind us right now, and we just got to keep them behind us. We got to extend this point lead, even if it's 1 point a race, and bring this thing home.
And a podium after the scary start this morning for the team would be a good thing.
Definitely got to wish Mark well here, buddy. I hope you're watching at home right now and feeling better. The report from the team was he had a broken clavicle and a concussion, but they're saying no problems with him right, other than that. So we're definitely wishing him well. It stinks when any one of us gets injured, but when a teammate gets hurt, it's especially sad.
Absolutely. Let's get up to the booth.
Bad situation going on the racetrack with all that going on. We've had a big crash, 96 right here, coming back in, but that wasn't all.
Wow, similar damage to the 97 cars. Billy Auberlen got into it coming off of turn 14. Their day is done.
He hit hard to the driver's right of 14, but then the Camaros and the outside of turn 1, the whole field just split through him. Almost the 00 here. You see me still sitting there. That's one of the worst places you'd ever want to be.
Ashley McCalmont behind the wheel of that CKS Camaro. She spun there at the exit of turn 1, and like you said, very scary. Bill Auberlen had been right in the hunt, was there in that lead serial when he had his problem.
Well, I saw Auberlen's crash. That was a big hit. Here's the 00 problem.
Thinks he might get a tap.
Yeah,
here.
she's going to get turned.
By the 17.
That's Kevin Farrar in the 17
and that's
Mustang.
Just enough around the corner that the drivers cannot see it. Remember, the sun's right in your eyes right now, too. The rest of the ST field came through there.
Bill Auberlen's made it to pit road.
Right now, the Turner Motorsports team looking at the back of this car. I tell you what, guys, this is almost identical to their previous incident with the 97 car. This is not looking good right now. It does look like, I don't know, they're still looking at the suspension right now, but the team is still working, so that's a good sign. Headsets are still on.
Yeah, I saw that one. We were going in with that interview when he got turned. I think he got turned anyway, coming off of 14, and he backed into the guardrail hard.
Well, it's been such a tight battle up front. Let's see if we can see.
There it is, yep. Saw it go up in the air, and I didn't know what car it was because of the smoke, but I knew it was a big impact.
It's hard to tell if he dropped a wheel on the outside or if he had contact. Or
Bill's reporting that he didn't know what had happened there, so I don't think he had contact. I think he might have dropped a wheel, Brian, like you're talking about, and just shot across the racetrack. But I just saw the car up in the air, and I saw the smoke. I didn't know who it was right away.
There is a big drop off at the edge of the racetrack. Did you hear what he said? He said, will you tell him that something broke so it doesn't look like I just looped it on the straightaway? Well, so perhaps it was that dropped wheel or something that went awry there, but Bill Oberlin out of the hunt for certain.
He didn't know we were listening in.
This is the ST leader, Alec Altberg. He is doing a tremendous job. He's been really racy today in the APR Volkswagen. He's leading this ST pack. Looking for some of these other guys, though. In the middle of that pack, there is Michael Valiante. We talked about the Hart team and their strategy there, but with all of these yellows, Michael Valiante is gradually leapfrogging his way to the front. Remember, coming off a win at Mid-Ohio.
2.5-hour event from here at Road America. Strategy is going to come into play. You're going to have to go fast. You're going to have to save some car to the end. We're going to find out who did it and who did it right when we come back to Road America. Matt Plum leading in Grand Sport, Altberg leading in ST. The Road America 200 from Road America in Elkhart Lake, and the car is streaming through the carousel right now onto the back straightaway. One of the most challenging parts of the racetrack, but turn 14 was challenging for Bill Oberlin just moments ago. Let's see if we can find out what happened to him, Jamie.
Well, Bill Oberlin is now out of the car. Will Turner, what is the problem with this car?
Looks like today's not the day for Turner Motorsport. That hit that Mike Marcel took from I think it was a Subaru at the beginning, just wrong place, wrong time, and then this, it looks like a a couple dollar bolt broke in the rear, something that we couldn't see or anything. It's just not a good day for us.
From the highs to the lows, a bad day for Turner Motorsports.
And Will Turner not having a good day, hoping for better things from the Rolex event on Saturday. Your ST leader, Alec Altberg, in the 171 from APR, that Volkswagen. Having a good run.
All over him, though. He's looking really strong. This is a team that's really turned things around to the 23 BMW. They had a lot of problems early on, but they've gradually kept grinding away at it, and finally they've got a competitive car underneath Terry Borschill, who's one of the best in the business. But look at that VW stretch it down this front straightaway, Dorsey. Pulled a couple of car lengths there.
A lot of legs coming up that hill from the VW, sorry about that.
You've got that same electrical hiccup that I do, and look at this battle right here. It's the 80 BMW past the 197. Owen Trinkler in the 197. The 80 Juan Capastro de Betz having a good run. And it's Alex Altberg leading in ST, I should say, right now. Just handed over from David Chang a little bit earlier. Chang with a good run in that 171.
A great run in it. You see that timing monitor right behind David. He's looking at it and then he's walking away. He's looking at it, he's walking away. Great start to this one for you guys, obviously. You showed good speed in qualifying at Mid-Ohio. We knew the pace was there, but boy, this looks like the race is here for you.
I mean, this race, it's a long race, and this track is a hard track on brakes. So we've been playing a strategy that really comes into our hands later on in this race. Been trying to save our stuff towards the beginning. My job was to go out, get the car in the front, run somewhere around there, and save the brakes. So that way, later on, we can really attack and use them. And right now, it's really the strategy's playing into our favor. And I just want to say, being here this weekend and being up in the front has been a great feeling. We've had a tough start to the year, and this team has pulled together, and everyone's been working very hard to get our car up front, and now we're here. So our speed's always been there, and now the race is still looking good. We still have a little bit to go, but we're being very optimistic here.
Well, he executed well. Let's get up to second in ST with Jamie.
Well, Mike Lamara watching on as his co-driver Terry Borcheller, second place right now. It's your first time racing here at Road America. I know you're on the radio with Terry. What kind of car does he have for the finish?
Well, the WeatherTech BMW is running strong right now. We're playing some strategy, but the Continental tires are really holding up well, and we're hoping for a really good finish.
Even in his rookie season, he knows this team has got this car figured out, guys.
Having a great run. John Capastro de Betz moving up as well in his BMW and from Bimmer World. And one of the things that the BMW guys felt was that they just didn't have the straight line speed that they needed. They had a well-balanced car for the tighter sections of the racetrack, good brakes, but they just needed a little more straight line run. And that's a pretty good run right now for Terry Borcheller and Capastro de Betz, both in BMWs.
Wow. This little Camaro pack.
Yeah.
Working together.
I'm not sure about the working together
for now.
Yeah. Oh, we've seen that wiggling around. It doesn't take much.
This is good stuff. John Edwards there. Again, he and Matt Bell took it to victory lane here last year. A little bit of damage on the front end of the Stevenson Camaro. Went to the outside, and suddenly that lane was blocked. Did a good job of wooing it up.
Yeah,
good, clean racing.
That usually catches you out, and you end up in that gravel on the outside, headed down to the tire barrier.
6 of Gunter Schaldock. We saw him with a huge crash here last year in the Rolex GT category. Good to see him back in a Camaro again, but right now it is that Camaro battle. Eric Curran, then Gunter Schaldock. You see the 9 of Stevenson Motorsports, John Edwards on board there, and then the BMW, the 4th car in line, the 45 of Hugh Plum. BJ Zacharias at the back of that train in that 370Z.
Great recovery drive here by Eric Curran. Remember the problems they had in the pits, went all the way towards the back of the GS field. He's now up to 5th spot. Remember, these guys have some momentum. A 3rd place run, a 2nd place run at Mid-Ohio in the last race, looking for the top step of the podium and have a fast race car, but is time running out?
Tim Fox at the back of the line there, and hit that Aston Martin from Automatic Racing having a good run as well. The Aston Martin relatively new to automatic racing, so they're really getting the feel for that car, and he's battling right there with this train, and that is an intense group to say the least.
Well, that Camaro group, if they, they really got to look out the rearview mirror, because if any of them make a mistake, it's not going to be one position they lose, it's going to be 3. Oh, look at the water coming out of the tailpipe. This one blew up. That's just
Trinkler. This is big in the points, boys.
Huge in the points.
I just saw water coming out of the exhaust pipe, and that means that something's broken into the water chamber. That's not going to be a good deal there.
Owen Trinkler being shown 10th in the points as they came in here. He was a little further up at Mid-Ohio, but they had a problem on the last lap at Mid-Ohio that put them well back into 25th. Not good news for Owen Trinkler, and this battle is not letting up at all. Oh, and
breathe again.
Of course,
it will now.
There we go. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. Everybody's going to have a chance to cool down, and when the green flag comes back out, it's going to heat right back up.
This is going to get really tasty, because I tell you what, Eric Curran has a fast race car. John Edwards is in a hurry. The ST battle is really thickening up. Michael Valiante now up to 5th spot and up to 4th with Trinkler out, so game on.
Owen Trinkler with problems for his Honda Civic there in turn 6. Man, the field will be gathered back up, and we'll come back to green, and there will be plenty of action from right here at Road America. Stay with us. Plenty of action here on Speed, and you can catch it all if you'll download the free Speed app for your phone. Keep Speed at your fingertips and fuel your racing passion with Speed on your phone. Get the latest race results, news, photos, and exclusive videos. Download the app from iTunes or the Android market now. You're right, on board the number 10 Kia. Last year, it was Matt Bell and John Edwards who won this event in their Grand Sports Camaro from Stevenson Motorsports. Having a pretty good run right now. They may have a shot at this, Jamie.
They might. Matt, last time you were here, you were drenched in champagne. Strategy is going to be a big key in the end of this race. How is this car going to hold on to the end?
I think we're doing pretty well. We took a lot of damage early on, but that actually kind of paid in our favor. We're good on fuel now. John's in a good place. I think the car's doing pretty well. I don't think we have the outright speed that the leaders have. I mean, they're into the 22s, but I think we're doing pretty well.
It's a big weekend for Matt because he's also making his debut in the Nationwide Series this weekend. Greg?
Well, I'll tell you what, one of the great stories to me is the number 83 a BGB Motorsports Porsche that had that problem early, innocent bystander in that contact, and John Ferrano, man, David Empringham has driven this thing back.
Oh, he really has, and the car was slightly damaged. Of course, we had to pit because we had a tire go down, so it put us to the back, but I had a fairly strong run there, and then Dave just picks up the ball, and he's just driving like a pro like he is. So he's doing a great job out there. So fingers crossed, and we'll get this thing to the end.
Sounds great. And, of course, this is the team that started with the Porsche right off, and the Rum Bum boys went, oh, they're onto something.
Well, John Ferrano, he can talk about David Empringham, but David Empringham talks about what a great job John Ferrano has done this year. And John leading in the Monticello Motor Club Rookie of the Year award. He hasn't put a wheel wrong all year long, and they've been sneaky. They've snuck up on this championship lead by being consistent.
They have, and it's hard to believe with David Empringham's experience. He's a 2-time Atlantic champion, won an Indy Lights title, has won the GS championship before that. He's never run here at Road America, and he said, boy, what a racetrack. Absolutely loves it.
I thought that stat was wrong, too. I looked at that. That can't be possible.
See the 140 on pit road. They were having a good run. Remember, they were right there with that battle that was going on. Tim Fox, Chris Wilson sharing that car.
They hadn't done a driver change,
Yeah,
so it's obviously a late start for these guys to get it done, but they'll have a freshened car and could be strong.
2 other cars on pit road. You see the 43 Mustang as well as the 17. Ferrari in the 17 right now, and looking back through the order a little bit for the 43, they're running well back. So these guys coming in, taking an opportunity to change some tires, get some fuel, and they'll head back out. So new Contis, some Sunoco fuel, and back on track.
Pretty sure they got the same graphics designers on those 2 cars too.
Well, you know,
numbers look similar.
Yeah, the numbers do look similar. You are right. Heading back out, the 43. The field lined up. It's Matt Plum continuing to lead over Billy Johnson, then David Empringham. There's the 17 heading back out.
Some action at the back of that one. You can see bumper cover is missing, so he's been in the war. It's been a war this race so far.
Getting back to those lap times, Matt Plum and Billy Johnson have run lap times, high 22s, 23 flat. The rest of this field are in the 24s and 5s. So certainly the 2 leaders have shown the speed to stretch it again when we get some green flag racing.
Well, John Capestro de Betz running 3rd in ST, and we talked about the lack of straight line speed. It was James Clay that told me that. He's got to be a little bit pleased with where that car's running right now, Jamie.
James, it's been a little bit of a challenging season for you guys in your car so far, but what have you figured out right now?
Well, it's certainly been a little bit tough, especially at Road America. It's a long track, long straightaways, and what we're doing right now is just trying to hang on in the draft. I think if we do that, we've got awesome brakes. The performance frictions on the car are really working. You know, maybe we can get something done under braking, and we'll be there at the end.
I know you were worried about the straight line speed. What has been the factor that's helped you guys over the course of this race?
Absolutely just being there, and we've got a good, consistent car. We're always there, and it's the right spot, and we just moved up because of it.
As we get to the end of the race, what are you expecting?
Fireworks and excitement, of course. we'll see what happens. You know, we're looking for a podium out of this 80 car for the first time this year, and we'll see.
All right, thank you, James. Greg?
Thanks very much, Jamie. I'm standing by with Andrew Novich of Compass 360, and I'll tell you what, this has not been the race you guys wanted. You've been so quick this season, obviously, but Road America once again has turned into a battleground.
Yeah, in the opening stint, I was running around the top 5, I think 6th or 7th, something like that. And then I handed it over to my co-driver, Adam Burrows. He did a fantastic job, tried to drive up through the field. And then on one of the restarts, we got a penalty for jumping the start. And that set us back. I didn't see the actual penalty. I haven't seen the video yet, so I don't really know what happened. But I think, you know, this race it's pretty safe to say we're out of contention for the win. But you know, next week is Watkins Glen, so I think we can get back in the championship.
Without a doubt, team's good, car is certainly good. Luck with them, not today.
25 minutes remaining from round 6 of the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge from Road America. We'll be back as Matt Plum will be looking for the green flag when we come back. And can Alec Altberg hold on to win an ST? We'll find out right around this bend. Pace car, the Camaro leading the field around, right behind him, Matt Plum and that rum-bum Porsche looking for the green flag on the restart. Temperatures cooling, sun setting. Right now, the competition about to heat up, bringing the field up that hill, looking for the green flag at start-finish. Everybody lined up nice and neat. Green, green, green.
You can see Matt Plum really working those tires over, trying to get them cleaned off, so when he gets down into turn 1, he has some grip there. He's going to feel the pressure big time, emptying him to the outside.
It's Porsche, Mustang, Porsche right now. Billy Johnson was trying to look to the inside of Matt Plum, and meanwhile, Empringham in that silver and blue Porsche beginning to slip in there as well. Ian James right behind them in another Mustang, that dark blue Mustang with the white circle on the side. And look at ST.
Traffic jam.
Valiente looking for a wave by, looking for a second spot. He's made a nice move getting around the 80 machine. Now he ducks to the inside down into the brake zone. Remember, this is a car that's been extremely fast in practice here this weekend, coming off the win at Mid-Ohio. He takes second, but Altberg looks really strong up front.
He set that up really well coming out of 1 and got the inside running down into turn 3. But now we'll see what goes on down this long straightaway.
Right on board with Nick Janssen in his Kia. Right in front, the 80, John Capastro de Betz for Bimmer World. It is a freight train down to turn 5. Heavy braking at the end of this long straightaway. Janssen a bit defensive.
He was. That was Pierre Kleinubing looking for a way down the inside. He's had a brilliant win already this year. Oh, look at this. The 80 car defends vigorously from Nick Janssen. He's been told no more contact here today. He had to give that one up.
Yeah, he did, because he would have touched that car and sent it for a...
Oh, and there's a contact.
It's going to get a bunch of cars. It's going to get a bunch of cars.
Oh, this is ugly. Another big impact for the Focus. Those Multimatic boys have had a lot of big shunts here this year.
Full course caution, obviously, as that was just nowhere to go for a lot of these guys.
I think both Ford Focuses may have been caught up in that, and this will be our 7th full course caution. We had 5 last year, so we're already well ahead. There's one of the Focuses, 161 from APR.
That Ford Focus really took some hits. That's not a, I mean, that really took some good bashing.
Saw one of the Freedom Autosports MX-5s involved. That's the 16.
Yeah, that shows it. Look, the side windows are blown out of it, doors ripped off of it.
Nick Mancuso in the 16. There's the 76 from Compass 360 Racing, one of the Honda Civics that team fields.
Another front end bashed up pretty good.
David Thelinius behind the wheel of the 76 from Compass. You see the Mazda there with the problem. There's the 161 of Josh Hurley. Wow, it all went bad at the exit of turn 6. The left-hander at the top of the hill. Here we go, guys.
See what happens. So it's right there.
Oh, yeah, it's already in the apex of turn 6.
Got into the 8 Mazda.
Watch the 161. That is a big slam right there for Nick Mancuso. Local boy based down in the Chicago area.
Watch right here as it happens.
161 into the 8.
And he just gets clipped.
Oh! Big hit for Mancuso, like you said.
And the Focus on the wall was a monster hit, too.
And there's the 15 Focus, nudges into the back. I think he may actually be okay. It's Gunnar Jeanette in the 15. Oh!
Yeah, that gives you a real good indication how hard that was.
That's on board the 25 from Freedom Autosports.
This is the other Freedom car, the 26 this time, if you didn't like the view from the other.
So this is on board with Andrew Carbonell.
Where are you going to go?
Watch that cloud. Watch to the left now. Oh, we just lost it.
The Focus, when it hit the wall, I mean, it was a ton. It just really rode into. Those were violent hits, too.
Drivers taking the mandatory ride to the infield medical center. They'll get checked out. All of them out of the car on their own power, it appears. And here we go again, slow motion.
Watch the 161. Gets into the MX-5, turns him.
And he's going to come back across and re-get the 161 right there. That's now going to shoot across and get the Focus. Focus is going to hit the wall a ton. Watch the 16.
Well, the Freedom car, the suspension is broke. That's why he veered across the racetrack and got into Nick Mancuso, and then carnage ensued behind him.
It was Brad Rampelberg in the 8 from Freedom Autosports, the Mazda MX-5 off to the side.
That's 7 cars all in all were in that, not as bad as some of the ones we're seeing here.
Boy, disappointment on the part of all these drivers and team owners, too, especially when you have 2 cars involved, Greg.
Absolutely not a good lap at all for this team. Larry Holt, the first question has got to be, how is he?
He's fine. We were a bit concerned there for a minute because his radio came unplugged in to hit, and I didn't hear anything from him, but he got it plugged in and said he's fine, he's okay, but car's completely wrecked. And on top of that, 16 car getting wrecked, Gunnar got caught out and stopped in behind one of the other cars, and we probably lost about 15 positions. So, yeah, nothing good about that lap at all.
And what really precipitated everything from your perspective?
There were a couple of guys got together in front of us. It wasn't, we got caught up in somebody else's incident, and 2 or 3 cars got sideways, and Nick actually got hit in the side and taken out, and then the car in front of Gunnar just got stopped. So, you know, nothing to do with my 2 guys. They didn't cause any of that. They just got caught up in it.
You can see Gunnar there.
Obviously frustrating for you, but you guys are developing 2 different cars in the same season. That's got to be a great challenge for a team like Multimatic.
Well, yeah, the Ford's for sure. The Focus is in a development year. The Aston really is a developed car. You know, Aston Martin Racing had that already developed, so we're just running it. But yeah, the Focus, and I was very, you know, we're happy. We qualified well today with the Ford in 4th, and we had good pace, and we were running them alternative strategies to cover our bets, and nothing good came of it.
It's been a tough day for him. Sorry about that, Cal.
No problem, mate. We were just watching a replay. We could see Gunnar
as Larry said, coming to a complete stop there. Had to wait for the field to go through and then reversed up and underway, but did a good job of avoiding. I don't think there's any damage to that car, but time is running out for him to recover and get some track position back.
While they get this cleaned up, it's Matt Plum continuing to lead in his number 13 Rum Bum Porsche out in front. And for Matt Plum, Nick Longi, they'd love to see the checkered flag fall while they are out in front without a doubt. Jamie, what's going on down at Rum Bum?
Well, Nick Longi's been watching on as all of this action has unfolded on the racetrack. Nick, you've been racing Continental Tire for a long time now. What do you think is happening where we've seen all of these cautions today?
Well, this is a great racetrack. It's a great old style, fast racetrack, and the racing in this series is so tight, so close. There are a lot of good drivers, but what happens is that when you get 10, 15, 20 cars nose to tail, one little thing, even a little mechanical issue or something happening going wrong on one car creates, what they call the big one in NASCAR. So it's just sort of the nature of it. It's why apart from the wrecking, it's why we love the series. It's so competitive, it's so strong, it's a great place to race.
What kind of car do you have for the checkered flag?
I think we've got a good car for the checkered flag. I mean, this is a classic matchup at a classic racetrack between, the 911 Porsche with a slightly smaller engine, the Mustang with the big torquey V8. And it's exactly playing out the way you'd think so. So for us, the longer runs are a little bit better. These restarts are making us kind of nervous because the Mustang's got a big engine in it. But Matt's been fantastic. Obviously, he's the man for the job. And last year, it ended under yellow with us in third place, thinking we wanted to have a chance to race. And now it's might end under yellow with us in first place. Not the way you want to end it, but I like this year better than last year.
Thank you.
Last year they didn't want to see it end under yellow. This year, I don't know, maybe they'll take it. We'll have to wait and see. I think we got time to get back to green. Plenty of excitement. You don't believe it? Right on board through that last incident that brought out this last full course caution. We'll be back to Road America. Sports Car Challenge from Road America. Action. If you wanted it, you've seen it all day long. And 9 minutes and change left to go, guys. When the green flag falls, I don't think we're going to see anything different than what we have seen all day long. Plenty of action, and like I said, when the green flag falls, they're going to be going for it, Greg.
They are, and one of the important things here is simple survival. And saying by Roger Miller, the 158 Dempsey machine running in fourth right now, you avoided that big moment at the very start of this thing. Then you said on the restart, you got ball peened around a little bit, but the car's okay, and you brought it home and to the driver change in good shape.
Yes, and Ian's taken very good care of the car and held his position well. I think we fell into a good pit strategy by getting fuel. We just splashed when I pitted, and then came in, did a driver change on the second one, and I think that's going to work out.
How tough has it been to avoid everything that's been going on out there? I mean, it just seems absolutely crazy here today.
Yeah, I think it's impossible to avoid all contact. Almost everybody's in contact every race, but it's getting worse and worse. So.
Well, good luck to the end of this one. It'd be great to have that finally come through for you. Jamie, what do you got?
The team manager for Rouse Performance, Brad Francis. Brad, got a couple minutes left in this race. What do you need in order to get to the first position?
Well, Jamie, I think we're about 500 pounds heavier than the Porsche, and it's very difficult for us to equate that. Grand Am does a fabulous job trying to make all these cars equal, and it's so difficult. But other than that, it's up to Billy. Billy Johnson's one of the best drivers we've seen in a long time, but he's up against Matt Plum, and these guys they're fairly serious, so we should have a good few laps left and see what happens.
In your opinion, is there enough in there to get it?
Well, Billy's a blast, so we don't know what's going to happen here. None of us have a crystal ball, but it's going to be a good race, and it'll be a good end. And Joe Vardy and Matt Plum are good friends, and we get along really well off the track, but on the track we may have a little issue.
I like that nickname, though, Billy the Blast. How about that?
Brad playing the cat in the hat here on these weekends, and I can tell you what's going to happen. The gloves are about to come off. Yeah. You know, that Mustang is heavy. It does have one of the smallest brake packages on it. Billy Johnson's going to use everything that it has on this restart.
Yeah, I was talking to Calvin about the restart, and what Matt Plum has to do with that Porsche is make sure he's got enough momentum that 427 and that Ford doesn't pull him up that big hill. Remember, the start of this straightaway on the front straightaway is uphill.
I got a feeling that Matt's going to be on the right side of this straightaway.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Far right side.
I think Billy Johnson's going to have to go around the left side, the outside of him, when we do get to turn 1. But a lot of other fast cars out there too. M's going to be looking to having a sniff at a win. Championship leader currently running 3rd.
Lights out on the Chevy Camaro pace car. Through turn 14, they'll make the climb up the hill. Now, if you're Matt Plum and you've got that Boxster 6-cylinder engine in the back of that 911, you know that V8's behind you. What do, Dorsey?
Go now. Trigger now. Go and get to the right, you know.
Oh, he's stacking them up.
Stacking them up and battling with torque is probably not a good thing to do.
He's going to move to the right here real quick, I got a feeling.
He's going to head to the right, defend that inside of turn 1.
Green, 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 here we go, and it is a lot darker outside than our cameras make it look. You see the headlights down to turn 1, one of the faster corners on the racetrack. Johnson, no, not this time.
He's going to push it. Billy's going to get real aggressive. He wants a win. He's going to really force the issue into these brake zones, down into turn 3 and into turn 5, but Empringham's there. This could be helping Matt Plum, the fact that Empringham's right there with Billy Johnson.
Good battles further back, and let's go back to ST as well. You see the set 171, Alex Altberg leading. Terry Borcheller trying to have a go at it, but you got Michael Valiente right there. You can't relax. You got to pay attention to the mirror, too. Look at Valiente.
Look at that.
Good save back there.
Woo. Capestro de Betz with a great save under braking for turn 3.
Altberg is doing a great job, Calvin. You and I have been talking about it. He's holding out the best of the best in this ST class.
He's done an awesome job. I mean, the car is strong. I tell you what, the 80 car, I think he might have dropped the left sides there in the dirt. Here comes Valiente. Borcheller gives him just enough room. But Michael realizes that time is running out, looking for 2 wins in a row. Terry comes back at him. Look at this. He's going to go to the front almost.
That was brilliant.
Brilliant drive.
Really good job giving up that position so he could do the switch back and outbrake him a second time.
That was cool.
That was cool.
Oh, Valiente looking back inside. No, nothing this time. And they say one of the weak links on the Civic is the brake package. You can overheat them, but Valiente holding nothing back right now, using all that Civic will give him.
This has allowed that VW, Dorsey, to stretch it out. These two guys battling.
That was cool, though. That was a really good hard racing. A couple of drivers, heads-up drivers.
Remember, just the last race, these guys were duking it out in the DP ranks as well at Mid-Ohio. So
Valiente through the carousel. Alex Altberg holding down the point in ST. Terry Borcheller, you've got Volkswagen, BMW, Honda. 3 different makes in the top 3 right now. So the battle between front-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive, between different manufacturers. The cars have different strengths, different weaknesses.
Oh, he's off.
De Betz off.
He saves it. Good there.
Wow, how many times have we seen that today? Going off in the kink and coming back on. That just doesn't happen.
That is a hairy spot. That is one of the hairiest corners in all of North America, let alone Road America.
Boy, you know, I never went off there because I think I would have had a heart attack. I was pretty sure I would.
Valiente still running 3rd in that white, black, and red Honda Civic from Honda American Racing Team. And back up on point, it's Matt Plum in the Rum Bum Porsche out in front. Billy Johnson, time running out, just over 3 minutes to go. They'll get 2 more laps.
Eric Curran up to 4th. He's got around Ian James, now making a run on Empringham for 3rd. He wants another podium.
You saw Todd Snyder in the number 78 Mustang in there as well. Snyder having a good run. Back to ST 171 on the right of your screen, the Volkswagen. That's your leader, Alex Altberg, and Michael Valiente in the Honda Civic trying to get around the white BMW of Terry Borcheller.
Boy, and the BMW doesn't have top end, that's for sure. Terry Borcheller at the end of the straightaways is a sit and duck, but he's doing a good job with what he's got.
Oh! John Capestro de Betz in that blue BMW. He was off at the kink the last time. You wonder if perhaps he's used up that car. 2 iMoto Mazdas right behind him, having a go.
Kleinherbig and Ellis looking for a way through as well. You're right, that BMW with Terry Borcheller really struggles mid-range as well, Dorsey. End of the straightaway, it kind of evens out, but through the middle part, that VW just takes off on him. Valiente had a run. Meanwhile, back at the front of the pack, Matt Plum not feeling the heat. Look at those front brake rotors.
Yeah, Terry Borcheller holding off Michael Valiente in ST. Battles all around. 4 miles worth of Road America.
This could get ugly.
If they don't touch it, that was a great move. This is good combative racing here.
But look at the gap now out front. Michael gets through for second. The leader is gone.
Alex Altberg has checked out, and Dorsey, you called it. Michael Valiente, Terry Borcheller, two very professional race car drivers racing close. Look at the rotors on that Civic, glowing bright orange down into turn 8.
The BMW is just a sit and duck in the middle of the straightaways. It can't do it. Look at the rotors on that Mustang. Billy Johnson using them up.
He really is, and Brad Francis said the Porsche's a little bit lighter than us, so that has an effect over a long race here in these brake zones. Billy Johnson using all of that brake package up underneath him right now.
Just over 4 miles to go through turn 14. Plum with a lurid slide.
Big power
off
slide.
Of 14. It'll be the white flag at the line. Will Johnson make up some ground after that slide by Plum onto the front straightaway? White flag waves.
He should anyway, because that did cast some tires. Look at this ST battle, nose to tail.
Wow, 5
The
o'clock.
Bitterworld Killers up to second. Borcheller drops back to 4th or 5th.
On board, the number 26 Mazda dropping back there. Man, it is hot in ST. John Capestro Dubets has gotten past Valiente. He's moved to second.
What a drive for him.
They're going to
Brilliant.
They're going to come up to the one ugly lap to go is what they're going to come up to.
That's exactly what they were about to be told. And here we go down the front straightaway.
It's all spreading out.
Capestro Dubets, Valiente right behind him. You got a Compass 360, the 75 in there with one of the iMoto Mazdas. And all the while, Alex Altberg beginning to check out in his APR Volkswagen.
Eversley's looking racy there in the 75 car. Look at this, Valiente around the outside there.
He got it.
He's got it.
For now.
For now.
Got to defend down in this brake zone. That VW, though, has a couple of second lead. It's going to be tough to catch.
Borcheller has slipped back a little bit. No, the 75 involved in there. Eversley trying to make his move to the front in that Compass 360, the orange and silver Honda.
And at the back, the Freedom Autosport MX-5s are hooked up in tandem, pushing each other. There they go.
It is intense in ST. Alex Altberg leaves the picture down at the bottom. Valiente doing everything he can. Look at that Civic dancing around.
They are dancing, and they don't have a lot of brake left.
Borcheller now right back in the hunt there to GS. Matt Plum through the kink for the last time. Billy Johnson right behind him. Not close enough to do anything yet, but Canada corner coming up.
He hasn't given up. You could see the body language there in that race car.
Got a good run through there. I don't think enough to do much with it. We'll see. Oh, he's in here deep.
Matt defends, goes to the middle of the road in case Billy was thinking about it. Tough to pass from this point on, but he's going to keep trying with 2 corners to go.
Wow, these guys giving it all. Watch this left-hand corner. This will set up the run for the straight.
Oh, it's not over yet. Both of these teams have 2 wins on the season. Billy Johnson
He's
looking
trying.
inside.
Oh, I think
Plum
that could have
defense.
cooked it, though, yeah.
Oh, and a slide. Oh. How can you sound that calm on the radio? That was intense. But Matt Plum looking for victory number 3. He's going to get it.
Oh, man.
Was that Matt Plum?
Look at this.
That was side by side for third.
I think Emp got it. This is for the lead in ST. The pack has caught the VW, but it's too late, I think.
Yeah, it's too late.
Can Altberg hang on here with 2 corners to go? Similar scenario to GS.
Alex Altberg trying to hold on Michael Valiente. Valiente looking for another victory. Pressing hard. That Honda Civic really putting on a charge. It's Honda versus Volkswagen. Out of 14, onto the front straightaway. Valiente using every bit of racetrack he can. A little bit of a draft. I don't think it's going to happen, guys. Alex Altberg in the 171 for APR to the line.
Whoa, he was coming.
Yeah, he was.
He was coming.
Great job, guys. Great job.
Intense. That's the only way you can call it. Look at this. This was the battle in GS to the line. David Impringham in the 83. Eric Curran in the 01 all the way to the line. Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. It doesn't get any better than this. Well, Nick Longy said last year he wanted a chance to race to the checkered flag. This year he got it after that full course caution. They got the win too, Jamie.
Matt Plum, we heard your radio commentary there at the end. You said you had a tire going down. How nervous were you?
Oh man, what a way to end a race. You know, first of all, thanks to Continental AST, Rum Bum Racing. We got the whole Bossmen and their family here. I couldn't be any happier. Yeah, at the end was a little stressful. Coming out of the carousel, last lap, I think I just crushed a curb with the left side tire. I don't know if I killed a shock or but I was hanging on for dear life, and Billy obviously drove a great race and was quick the whole time. And I just, once again, I got to thank the crew. They did an awesome job. My man Nick kept it up front, and I'm a lucky man.
It's the third one of the season for Matt Plum, Nick Longi, and in ST we have Alex Altberg, David Chang. Alex, I know you felt a lot of pressure there at the end. How hard were you pushing?
I was actually trying to take it as easy as I could, and then I saw that the Beamer behind me, and then the Honda passed, and they were making a closing gap in the last few corners, and I pushed like hell for those last few corners. Thank you, Continental. You guys did great. Those tires are awesome.
Congratulations.
And you got to be impressed with Alex Altberg. That was one heck of a drive.
Beautiful drive, and I tell you what, that VW found some steam this week.
Give him the drive of the week, no doubt about it. I mean, he did a good job all day long.
Matt Plum, Nick Longi, they celebrate in Grand Sport. For Alex Altberg, David Chang, what a win in ST. We'll be back for more from Road America right after this. On another tremendous Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge event from Road America. It was an intense one. While Rum Bump took the victory, it wasn't for lack of trying on Billy Johnson's part from Roush Racing, Greg.
Not at all. Jack Ross Jr. giving it a good opening stint, and Billy Boy, I'll tell you what, you got into this one so close to that third win. Some great stuff.
Yeah, that was tough there at the end. It was great racing throughout the whole race, but man, I burned those brakes into the ground. We have the heaviest car of the field with the smallest brakes, and I didn't give anything of those Continental tires left, but they were great tires, but being 400 pounds heavier than this thing, it just wasn't quite enough to come out on top. But the crew did an awesome job. The Mustang was handling awesome, but just hard to make up a 400-pound deficit.
Billy Johnson, Matt Plum, all the guys using up every bit of race car that they had, the brake rotors glowing red. But when you look at GS points, John Ferrano, David Ibrahim, they led the points coming in. They still do.
They do, and they've stretched it a little bit. Plum and Longi with another win here today, now up to second, but it's very tight at the top.
Looking through there, Al Carter and Hugh Plum hanging on. Billy Johnson, Jack Rouse Jr., they're working their way up, Dorsey.
Well, they run out of luck today, but that's not a bad finish, and they got to just keep picking away. That's all you can do.
It's consistency that wins these championships, and that's what they're working on. For Nick Johnson and Andy Lally, they're trying to be consistent, but their championship lead is narrowing down considerably. Look at Pierre Kleinubing.
Yeah, he's very tight because Nick Johnson had a disaster on the last lap. He went from the top 6 all the way down to 13th and just clings on to that championship lead. Tom Long still in the thick of the battle also.
And this racing series goes, I'm not sure I'd count out anybody that's sitting there in fourth either. I mean, we've got 4 more events to go after this, and anything can happen. You miss step one time, you drop out of an event, and the championship picture has changed.
Well, you look at that point spread and understand that there's 35 points for a win. So if somebody drops out of that top position, somebody else picks up the 35 points, well, what is it? It's all right back together again.
The problem is there's so many competitive cars. You have a bobble. It's not like you drop a couple of positions. You can lose 10 spots in a heartbeat here.
Well, and you pointed it out, Calvin. That's exactly what happened to Nick Johnson on that final lap. The championships, they are far from settled. That is for certain. Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge action, you certainly saw plenty of it from here at Road America. This is what we're used to seeing. It's been a great one. Thanks for joining us here on Speed, home of the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. For Calvin Fish, Dorsey Schrader, Greg Kramer, Jamie Howe, I'm Brian Till. Thanks for joining us right here on Speed. So long, everyone.